All right, Pops, not good news coming out of the world of Toyota. The automaker, who is beloved here on YouTube and abroad, just announced that they were going to be slashing their production by 150,000 vehicles this month and 20% production cuts for the remainder of the quarter, so April, May, and June. What the heck's going on at Toyota? And then also, unfortunately, that devastating earthquake. I think there's some implications there for production as well.
Well, what's going on with Toyota is, at least according to Toyota, they're very concerned about the workers and the amount of work that they've been putting on their plate, trying to increase production to make up for lost vehicles. I think the real story is if you read between the lines, and they can't guarantee getting the supplies that they need to build the cars. So rather than running at such a high pace, they're going to cut back to what reality really is, what they might be able to get enough supplies for. And so they're going to cut production in April by 150,000 units and that whole quarter by 20%. That's a significant decrease.
Yeah. Now, coming into this year, Toyota had mentioned that they were going to increase their production capacity. They were going to target 900,000 vehicles produced per month. Some months potentially could be higher, some months potentially could be lower, of course, but that was what they were targeting. They then revised that down to 800,000, and now we're looking at here in April, or in March, excuse me, and then moving forward, 750,000.
Yes.
So these are significant declines in the total amount of vehicles being produced. And then there was that devastating earthquake that happened just a few days ago off the coast of Japan.
Yes.
And what happened there was, well, now Renesas, which is one of the largest semiconductor producers that has plants in Japan, 3 of them, 2 of them are still not operational after the earthquake. One of them is back up and running. They produce automotive chips, not your super fancy chips. They produce automotive chips. Yep. And you got to imagine that they have a working relationship with the folks over at Toyota, and they're out of commission for a little while.
Get 20% off at joinyaa.com through March 24th. Just type in luck. It's a fact of life today that there are supply chain issues, and as well as Toyota was able to navigate those supply chain issues last year,
they haven't been immune.
This year, they're just having a tough time. And that means that there's going to be less Toyotas available, not only globally, but we don't care globally. There are going to be less available Toyotas here in the States.
And Lexuses.
Yes.
The article from Automotive News talks explicitly about it's going to be Camrys, it's going to be CRVs, and then it's like any Lexus under the sun.
It's
HRVs.
Yeah, whatever the heck.
Thank you. Yeah.
CRV is a Honda.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And then pretty much any Lexus under the sun is going to be affected by what's happening right now.
Yes, and so there'll be shortages of Lexus and Toyota vehicles in this country. It will continue for the foreseeable future, where your local dealers just are not going to have the inventory that you're used to seeing on their lots. So if you have the desire to go in and purchase a car on a given day, the likelihood of them having that car available is being reduced.
Yeah. All right. Now, one other piece to tie into this, we've got some new projections simply based on the war that's happening in Ukraine. S&P Global has put out their projections that worst case scenario for this year could be 4 million vehicles lost from production. If you remember last year when we were keeping score,
an additional 4
million. Last year when we were keeping score, just because of the chip shortage, we lost 11 million vehicles globally due to the chip shortage. Expectation going into this year was maybe going to be 1 or 2 million from the same source, Auto Forecast Solutions. Sadly, we're now starting to see those expectations rise as well. All in all, let's part with this, Ted. Expectations for new car prices over the next 6 months through the end of the year, expectations for used car prices for the next 6 months through the end of the year, and your advice to our audience if they need to buy a car.
If you need to buy a car, the Fed recently said that they're going to increase.
Well, they already did increase interest rates
but they're going to do it every 6 weeks for the remainder of the year.
That's the expectation.
So you have 6-week windows in which to do something if you can, because anything beyond that 6 weeks is a situation where the cost of buying that vehicle, if you're financing it, is going to go up. Between the lack of inventory, higher costs to purchase via financing, with such shortages, I think we'll continue to see new car prices remain very high, higher than they should be. Used car prices, if there's continued new car shortages, should remain high because, well, they'll be the only vehicles available. A tremendous amount of pressure on the used car prices for 1, 2 to 3 year old low mileage used cars will be the rental car companies buying those cars at auctions because they can't get fleet production from the manufacturers they normally buy from.
Another factor.
So as a consumer, it doesn't bode well for you. It just doesn't. It just means that we're going to be paying way too much for way longer than we had hoped. If you can stay out of the market, my advice to you is to stay out of the market. If you can invest a few dollars in whatever it is you have now and keep that running, I would attempt to do that rather than throw myself into an overheated market with short supply and too much demand.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Pops. Sorry for the bad Toyota news and bad news in general, but that's what we're here to provide. If you've got questions about buying a car, navigating the whole process, check out the website, joinyaa.com, and maybe we can help you. But yeah, tricky situation.
We'll do the best we can, we promise.
Thank you, Pops.
Thank you.